What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to the channel. This is going to be one of the longest videos that you'll ever see on this channel. It's close to an hour. It is a dual com with my boy Fooly. He is another COD commentator here on YouTube. Link will be in the description down below for his channel. He's doing great right now. Go check him out. And essentially, we are going to be reviewing every single Call of Duty and putting them together in a tier list, kind of coordinated together. You know, sometimes he'll give a take, sometimes I will. If you enjoy it, go show some support. This is the only time I'm going to ask you in the entire video to leave a like, subscribe if you're new to the channel. All right, and once again, go check him out. This video wouldn't have been as interesting or as long without him, so go check out Fooly in the description down below, and I'll see you guys later. Enjoy. I'll record an intro separately, so we could just start whenever you're ready.
All right, wait a second. So, look, before we start, I gotta be honest, bro. I haven't played those first like 3.
That's fine. I haven't either. Let's just go ahead and start with putting these 3 and never played. I feel like many people haven't, right?
Yeah, like, especially like the new generation of people playing.
Yeah, I feel like
probably
a lot of people
haven't played those.
Definitely just started with COD 4, which should be here, right? Yeah, 4th COD. All right.
Yeah.
COD 4. Personally, I never played it. I played the remastered. Well, I never played it in its prime, I guess I should say. I played the remastered, and hold on, this is wrong.
Yeah, I was gonna say, is it?
What the hell? Hang on, sorry.
Why is average better than good?
Okay, let me redo that.
Okay, wait. Are we when we're talking about COD 4, we're just talking about the original, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's talk about COD 4 as the original.
All right, for sure.
So yeah, I never played it in its prime. I played it again way after. I think it's a good COD. I don't think it's that special because I played when things were way more advanced than this game. So personally, I would put it as average. What do you think?
I would put it like between average and good. I think I'm leaning more towards good though because I recognize that that's like the COD that kind of like set everything for the future CODs. But I'm kind of with you on the fact that I started out later, and then going back to COD 4 was like the movement was a little awkward just because I was used to like the more advanced stuff from years later. Mm-hmm. So I think average is cool for now.
All right. Next up, World at War. You can start.
I've played very, very little of World at War, but I'd probably put it in. Honestly, it's like the same story for me with COD 4, where I started out later and going back to World at War just felt like a little awkward for me. I do recognize that it's fucking good, but I just didn't have too much experience with it, so I would put it in average for myself. But I don't know what you think.
Yeah, I'd agree. I think it's kind of like COD 4 in that sense. I didn't play in its prime, played it way after. The maps I'd say are really good though. They definitely set it apart. But again, it's like a simplistic game in comparison to what we have today. So it can't be anything out of the water. All right, moving on to some games we probably did play. Modern Warfare 2. Yep. I played it we'll just take turns. So you'll do Black Ops and so on. For Modern Warfare 2, I played it barely in its prime. I would say it's good. I don't think it's amazing. I don't think it's average. It's definitely more. It's on the same level of revolutionary of COD 4, if that makes sense, on how what it did for the franchise, with the expanded kill streaks, way more maps, way more detail in the maps, I want to say. But yeah, I mean, just a lot of iconic weaponry, noob tubes. Obviously, things were broken. A lot of people I don't know, they just love this game. Yeah,
I mean, for me, I would put it in either amazing or good. I'm not mad that it's in good at all. I actually think it's probably does belong there because there was a certain element to that game that was definitely broken that would not fly nowadays. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, it is probably one of the most popular CODs of all time. The streak system was much more advanced than before. Pretty sure, this is the first game to ever have the nuke, which was huge. Yeah. Probably has the most iconic maps at that time. iconic weapons like the ICR or the ACR,
Mm-hmm.
FAMAS, the UMP,
Noob tubes.
intervention. The campaign was great as well, and
Yeah,
Spec Ops too. So I think I would put it in either amazing or good, but I think good is right now.
definitely campaign. Definitely agree with that.
All right, so then
Black
for
Ops,
Black
you
Ops,
can start.
so I say this all the time on my channel, but Black Ops was my first COD, and for that reason alone, just like a little bit of bias,
Right.
it's my favorite Call of Duty of all time.
Uh-huh.
So I would put it in amazing. I think the zombies was super iconic. Campaign was pretty good, but the multiplayer is really like what made me fall in love with all of Call of Duty in general. I just remember seeing like gameplay of Nuketown and being like, "Yo, I want to play this really badly," and I was just a little kid. And then finally got the game, started playing it, played with my homies, playing Search and Destroy, and it's really what like started my love for COD. So yeah.
That's definitely a good take. I agree. It's definitely amazing. Like, I wouldn't even consider it in good. Black Ops is definitely one of, I'd say, like the three goat, like
Yeah.
in the discussion for goat CODs. All
100%.
around amazing maps. I'd say like maybe like three bad maps, maybe if you're being picky.
Little handful.
Yeah, definitely fun weaponry. I think that something that was underlooked about this game is like the sniping was tough. Like if you were good at sniping in this game, you were like a good sniper, as
Yeah.
opposed to like later Call of Duties, especially later Black Ops games, wasn't really the same case. So I feel like, I mean, as someone who doesn't like snipers, it was fun to run around and be able to kind of be free in that sense.
Yeah.
I will say there's a few things like Last Stand, Ghost was kind of OP, things like that. But I mean, every COD has its like little flaws. But I think the positives far outweigh the negatives of this title.
Think of all the maps from this game that they've remastered. And it's not for like no reason. I do
Right.
think it's a little lazy nowadays, but there's so many maps from this game that they remaster because they're super iconic. Like Nuketown, Summit, Firing Range. I don't agree with Jungle, but they bring back Jungle every now and then.
Yeah, I don't know what that's
Um,
about.
And then some like underrated maps like Grid, Launch, Radiation. Just great maps all around, in my opinion.
I hope we see those back, honestly. All right, moving on to my personal favorite. It's no surprise, Modern Warfare 3. That's my first Call of Duty game that I've played throughout the entire year. I played, the other ones like here and there, like friends' houses, but Modern Warfare 3 was my first owned Call of Duty game. And I sucked in the beginning, and I could see myself become a better player by the end of it. Just a ton of fun. I don't know. I liked the maps. I know that's a hot take. I know everyone hates the maps. They're all gray. They're all washed out and all that stuff. But they're just fun to me. You could use like different weapons. There was a lot of weapons in the game at launch. That's something I noticed about this game. Especially, I noticed that it's not in other games like Black Ops 4, Modern Warfare. Like they didn't launch with a lot of weapons. Well, Modern Warfare is probably a bad example, but Modern Warfare 3 definitely had a lot of launch content. The DLC, I will say, is a bit lacking. Campaign was good. Spec Ops was all right, but I mean, it had the nuke. It was kind of like Modern Warfare 2, just kind of cleaned up a little bit, which I think was what made it really fun for me. I'm personally gonna put it in amazing.
Yeah, and honestly, I agree with that. Like I said, Black Ops 1 was my first COD, so like obviously my second one would be Modern Warfare 3, and I had a ton of fun on this game. I remember at first I actually like despised it, probably like my first month playing it, but it really grew on me. Playing some of the maps, playing the Spec Ops in this game was pretty fun as well. The campaign was really fun. Um, I'm trying to remember some of the multiplayer aspects like point streaks,
Yeah, smart
specialist
decision.
bonus.
Oh yeah.
Those were super fun. Going for the Moab in that game was so much fun.
Hey, let me ask you, why did you dislike it in the beginning? Because I know that's a common thing for a lot of people. They just don't like this game.
Well, it's always like that whole debate between like all the Black Ops titles, all the Modern Warfare titles.
Oh,
Like
okay.
they're both on different engines. They both play a little different. So my first COD experience being Black Ops and then going to a Modern Warfare title, it was just different and I wasn't used to it. So I didn't like it at first, but it really grew on me. It's definitely one of my favorites too.
Fair enough. Good take. There's definitely some bias for me in terms of Modern Warfare 3 being my first COD, but I mean,
Right.
even without, still a great COD in my opinion. All right,
Yeah.
you're up for
I
Black
think a lot
Ops
of people
2.
would agree with that
Oh,
too.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
So for
you're up.
Black Ops 2, um, I think this is a no-brainer. I really don't know many people who dislike Black Ops 2
Don't get this
at
wrong
all.
now.
Oh, Black Ops 2, I'm putting it in amazing.
There you go.
100%. Um,
Agreed.
just every single aspect about it, honestly. Like the campaign, I had a lot of fun. The multiplayer to me was super revolutionary. It really like when I think about every single Call of Duty title after this, I always want it to be as close as possible to this game.
Hmm.
And so things like the multiplayer being really fun, league play was huge. I had a lot of fun there. Probably my first time playing anything competitively, and since then I've been in love with it. And then zombies, we had like Transit, we had Die Rise,
Right.
all those crazy maps that people ask to be remastered even to this day. And I don't know, Black Ops 2, I just think is like if there was like anything above amazing here, I would even put it there. I'm not gonna lie.
You'd put it over Black Ops 1.
Okay, that would be okay. Never mind. Black Ops 2 would be a close second. I'm super biased to Black Ops 1, but Black
Okay.
Ops 2 is right up there with me with Black Ops 1.
All right. Sounds good. I mean, definitely agree. League play, great point. Hard point was introduced in this game, which was
Oh
obviously a
yeah,
staple for competitive, staple for what's it called? Just pubs in general. Like a lot of
yeah.
people
Pretty
just
sure every single COD after had it.
yeah. Same with
No.
Modern Warfare 3 had kill confirmed. I forgot to point that
Yeah,
out. And infected actually. But yeah, Black Ops
underrated game
2
mode.
also had a lot of like fun little party games. I know Black Ops 1 had that too, but I think they added I want to say they added some. Did they add Six and Stones to Black Ops 2 or one in the
Um,
chamber, something like that?
Might have been one in the
They
chamber.
probably added a few. Um, Camos. I think it's the first game to have diamond camos.
Yeah, yeah,
DLC, first game to have a weapon that you could pay for DLC. Grind came in the DLC, one of the best maps of all time, I'd say.
facts.
Overall, I like Black Ops 2 because the maps that were good were obviously like probably the best of all time, right? Raid, Standoff, Slums, countless others. A lot of the other ones were like okay too, you know. Even your Carrier, Yemen, Overflow, you know, they're all right. Meltdown, you know, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Not a lot
Also,
of
I just want to point out that there was like a really small community for this, but well, actually at the time it was huge. But like snipers and trick shotters
oh
back
yeah,
then, this
yeah,
is where like they all like blew up. Modern Warfare 2 was also really good for sniping, but I think Black Ops 2 was like where people were hitting some insane clips. Trick shots were crazy. All those montages with like phase, really really cool stuff there back then.
definitely. Yeah, sniping was out of control in this game. They also had the target finder. Like you could use any weapon. Shotguns were OP, pistols were OP, the Cap
Yeah.
40, the Remington, obviously, you know, MSMC, M881 assault rifle. Like the fact that I still remember like all those is like kind of
DSR,
insane.
ballista.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for a game that old. So no discussion here. I don't think people will find that upset. It's me, right, for the next one?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
This is a no-brainer for me. I know a lot of people might get pissed, but COD goes straight in the trash for me. Definitely the first COD that since I got into the series, this COD made me quit. I know I only joined in Modern Warfare 3, I played 30 days of Modern Warfare 3, probably 33 days of Black Ops 2, which is a lot for a kid.
Yeah.
Into
yeah.
Ghosts, I played maybe a day, and I couldn't take it anymore. It was terrible. I didn't have YouTube back in the day, like kind of pushing me. I didn't play with people either. A good amount of my friends quit too, so it just kind of made sense to quit. And terrible maps, terrible color palettes. I will say the perk system was cool. I'll give it that. The streaks were terrible. Specialist was watered down as hell. Support streaks were back for no reason. Assault streaks were basically useless. Camping was at an all-time high. I don't know if it was the maps. I don't know what it was, but I want to say it was the maps. but every single game would have at least half the lobby camping. I couldn't take it, especially coming from Black Ops 2. I just played Black Ops 2 for another year. I couldn't deal with ghosts. Million other things I could say, but I'll let you go at it.
This is what I'll say. Call of Duty Ghost, this is kind of like the same thing where like going from Black Ops 1 going into MW3. I was super super heavy into Black Ops 2. Only this time going into Ghosts, I never really like got into it. I kind of was always just like, this is pretty bad for the most part. I think there is a crowd of people who will like years down the line, they'll say like, "Oh, Ghost was great. It's actually a really good COD. It's underrated."
Not
And
me.
I agree to like a little bit of an extent. Like I'll give it like attention, but I won't like. I've never gone back to Ghost ever. I think the last time I played Ghost was I don't know. It had to have been like midway through the year of that game, and I just never went back to it. Never really batted an eye to it ever again. But I think the most it could get would be like a bottom tier average. Like if these tiers were ranked, it would be like last in an average.
Dang.
So I think it would be there, honestly.
Okay.
All right. So
yeah.
what were you gonna say?
I was just gonna say I don't know if Ghost is like the absolute last Call of Duty, but it's close to it for me. So I would disagree. But go ahead, kick it off with Advanced Warfare.
Okay, so I think this is where things are gonna get kind of spicy. I'm not gonna lie because I know a lot of people will disagree with me on this one, but and I think you've disagreed with me on it already. But for Advanced Warfare, I'm gonna give it good. Obviously we could change this or like adjust it based off of your answer, but for me, like going from Ghost to Advanced Warfare, like Ghost was just so watered down, and I didn't have that much fun whatsoever. But then going into Advanced Warfare, it was something new, right? Granted, it wasn't like the most successful thing, and a lot of people were really turned off by it with the advanced movement and jetpacks and the exosuits or whatever they were. I actually really enjoyed it because this is when I started getting super heavy into GBs and doing like real competitive stuff. So I really enjoyed it. I kind of enjoyed just like jumping around, being able to like almost fly in the game. I know it's kind of corny nowadays, but this is also one of those things where like people think back on it and they really enjoyed it compared to when they actually first played it. But I think it's somewhere between average and good. But for now, I'm leaning good. I don't know if I even played the campaign. Did this have a third mode, by the way? It had zombies, right?
I think so. Wasn't it? It was like Aliens, right? Extinction. Was that this game?
Oh no, that was
Oh no,
Ghost.
that was
We didn't even
Ghost.
talk about that. That was probably the best thing about Ghost. But
Oh yeah, that was Ghost.
all right, so I'm pretty sure the third mode for Advanced Warfare was zombies, but I remember it not being very good, so that might knock down my answer a little bit. But for the multiplayer, I had a lot of fun. However, I can't lie, I don't remember all the maps. I just remember the bow, the sniper in that game, and I don't even remember. I don't remember much about it, honestly. I just remember that when I was a kid, I really, really enjoyed it. I'm pretty sure if I went back to it right now, I'd probably hate it. So I guess we could lean towards average. I guess depending on what you think about it.
So I quit Ghost, right? And so I didn't get Advanced Warfare. I played this game later in its prime. I took a little break here at Call of Duty because Ghost was so bad. That's literally why I have such a vendetta against Ghost, because I missed out on the next couple of CODs because I couldn't take, spending money on a bad game again. From my return, I did play a bit of Advanced Warfare, and I didn't hate it. Again, I didn't play in its prime, but I was used to the jetpack system because I played Black Ops 3 a lot after. So I didn't play Advanced Warfare, but I played a lot of Black Ops 3. And so coming back from that, it was kind of, I got used to the jumping system. I will say, personally, I like the movement more in Black Ops 3. We can go back and forth on that. I would say Advanced Warfare is pretty average. I know a lot of people said it was trash, and maybe it's because they played it in its prime, and maybe the microtransactions were pissing them off, or maybe they hated the maps. But from
Supply drops.
from a visual standpoint and from I guess the matchmaking when I played, it wasn't an awful experience. I will say I think skill based really kicked off around this game from what I've heard on YouTube. Again, it could just be hearsay from people with pitchforks, but that's what I've heard. So I'm personally going to put it in average. It's not a big deal to me. I know a lot of people are expecting trash, but I guess that's our hottest take so far.
I'll say the worst thing about Advanced Warfare, in my opinion, was for sure the supply drop system and them adding like, what was it, the Obsidian Steed or whatever it was. It was like
Val 27,
the variants of the guns that would actually like increase its damage, increase its fire rate, reduce its recoil and stuff like that. Like that was really bad. That was for sure pay to win. So I guess I'll definitely lean towards average instead of good from before. I enjoyed the multiplayer for what it was, but I do understand that like a lot of people weren't really fans of it. And then especially going into Black Ops 3, which was by far much more popular. I guess you can kick it off there.
Yeah, I know a lot of people are probably going to think I'm like, I'm a Treyarch shill. Black Ops 3's got to be amazing. And they're wrong. I'm going to put it in good, actually. I think that the supply drops did play too much of a factor in this game. I will say that the maps were all around amazing, or all around really good. I don't think there was a bad map for launch, at least. I like the movement, like I said. I think it felt very pay to win, and it felt a little light on content in some areas. I think gun-wise, it felt a little light. That's one of my biggest gripes about this game. Other than that, an all-around very fun experience. I think skill-based, you could definitely notice in this game. Like, if you were like iffy on it in Advanced Warfare, you could definitely notice it in Black Ops 3. I will say something really fun about Black Ops 3 is the YouTube scene, the competitive scene. A lot of people were posting. A lot of people were getting big at that time. A lot of people started channels at that time. And COD was pretty much thriving at that point. I know it kind of wasn't Black Ops 2, but even still in Black Ops 2, Modern Warfare 3, it was still kind of like new, kind of young. You had your big guys, your Chris Smoove, your T Martins, these kind of guys. But like Black Ops 3 introduced like much more of like a pub stomping scene to it, YouTube as well. So it was cool for that aspect. You can go. What do you think?
Well, adding on to that, what you just said, this is something that I've noticed. I don't know if maybe you noticed this on YouTube as well, but along with everybody starting to blow up here in Black Ops 3, the sniping community actually, like, I feel like this was the last time I actually saw them popping off. And it kind of says something about the following CODs after this. But when it comes to Black Ops 3, look, I'm gonna get roasted for this. I know for a fact I will. But I played on PlayStation, right? And I think Black Ops 3 is when it started going heavier into next gen with like a PlayStation 4, Xbox One, right? Am I wrong there? I'm pretty sure that's when it like kind of started happening.
Yeah.
Because I remember seeing like my friends got it for the PlayStation 3 and the thing looked like Minecraft. Like it looked horrible. So I didn't get to play this game in its initial like prime of like 6 months because I just didn't have a PS4 because I was a kid. But towards like the second half of the game, when I actually was able to play it, I had a lot of fun on it. And I'm gonna keep it in good. I think some people can make a good case for it being amazing, but just based off of the fact of like supply drops, was there a campaign in this game or was that Black Ops 4?
There was no campaign in Black Ops 4. Okay.
So, well, yeah. So the supply drops, I know turned off a lot of people,
right.
And I think especially coming off of AW, I think a lot of people were starting to get sick of jetpacks already. So
fair enough.
I can see why some people would not have it in amazing. So I'm gonna say in good is pretty good right now.
Back to you for Infinite Warfare.
All right, so Infinite Warfare. I don't know how much I can put into this game because I remember playing it for like the first couple of weeks, and I too was really, really bored of advanced movement, and I was getting tired of it because it was like the third year. But this was the game that launched with Modern Warfare Remastered, and that's not on this list. But I actually played MWR over this title.
I
So,
see.
but at the same time, I can't say never played. And I think a lot of people will agree with this. It's somewhere between average and trash, in my opinion.
You got to pick
I
one.
didn't play much of the campaign. I don't even know if it had a third mode. Multiplayer was not fun for me. I know competitively a lot of people kind of enjoyed it, but for me it just I wasn't a fan.
Uh, this was another one of the CODs that got hit by the ghost curse for me. Did not pick it up. Did not play it in its prime. I mean, from what I've heard, it's pretty bad. I've played it a little
Yep.
bit, probably about the same amount as I played Advanced Warfare. To me, Black Ops 3 is just the superior jetpack Call of Duty, so there's no reason to. I will
Hmm.
say I like the color scheme of the maps in Infinite Warfare, and most of the ones I played aren't bad. Like, in terms of maps, they're not terrible. It just seemed kind of like an unnecessary Call of Duty, I guess. Like, if there was a year that they needed to take a break during that time period, probably would have been the Infinite Warfare year. And I think the release of Modern Warfare Remastered kind of just proves that, in the sense of like they were so unconfident with releasing that they had to bundle something else with it to get people to sell it. And I remember
Yeah.
it was being sold for like $1 or something. I think like Thunder made videos on it. It was kind of funny because I would keep up with like Call of Duty YouTube even though I wasn't playing it. And I remember seeing something like that. So as a consensus for the community, I think everyone would say it's trash. Personally, I'm leaning towards, like I said, trash or average, like you said.
Also, before I get into World War II, I just want to make this like I feel like we have it in a good spot right now with the jetpack CODs. I don't think a lot of people will disagree with this. Like we have Black Ops 3 and good, we have Advanced Warfare and average at best, and then trash is Infinite Warfare
Right.
100%. I think that's true. Going into World War II though,
Lay
I
it
think
down.
I was a senior in high school, so I didn't really have much time to play this game, at least not in its prime state.
Uh huh.
But I do recall the first 6 months of this game being absolute trash. I was never this bored with any other boots on the ground COD, maybe like Ghost, but at in the first 6 months of the game, it was not very good. Then it got overhauled, and I think we all remember what happened. Like there was all this stuff with Sledgehammer and like whatever his name was, Michael
Michael Condrey.
Condrey,
Right.
right? The goat. A lot of
Right.
people hated him, but when he got promoted, I guess, quote unquote,
Yeah.
um, there's a lot of changes to the game, like with the perk system. Um, I think there's new DLC added. Overall, it just felt more fun to me after the 6 months, after the overhaul. But I think it was way too late for a lot of people. I think the best that this game could get is average. Um, I wouldn't put it in trash because, like I said, after the overhaul, I actually had a lot of fun with it.
Hmm.
But so many people were already off the game that like it kind of didn't matter. So that's where I stand with it, honestly.
I gotcha. Strangely enough, World War II was another game that got hit by the COD Ghost curse for me, and I did not play it in its prime. But I did play this game a good amount, way more than Advanced Warfare, way more than Infinite Warfare. So again, I didn't play in its prime, so I didn't play it during the quote unquote dark ages that everyone experienced through its prime. So when I played it, it was a fun Call of Duty game. The divisions, the weaponry, there was shipment 24/7. In my personal opinion, and maybe I'm wrong because I didn't play a ton of it, but it didn't seem like there was a lot to grind for. Maybe I'm wrong. You know, maybe you could.
Oh yeah, the mastery camo in this game was chrome camo. Absolute, just
It was bad,
horrible.
right? Yeah.
It
So
was
like,
not good.
yeah, and I think that this game was like one of the first CODs also to launch with like no maps. What was it, like 9 or 10 at launch, something like
I
that?
think it was 9.
Yeah, it was kind of whack. I think I did hear that this game did offer some free DLC content, like that sandbox map. I think they gave everyone a camo. I don't know if I'm
The
wrong about this game.
the sandbox map, I had fun in it, and I
Hmm.
as far as like the free camo, I think it did. It also, from what my memory, the supply drop system was like a little bit different because like if you got like the same of one whatever from the supply drop, like same thing, like if you got a charm twice, then they would like give you the credit for it. I think there was like some weird system with that. The only other good case I can make for this game is like the firing range. which was kind of fun, and like the headquarters. A lot of people like that.
Yeah.
Um, but as far as like gameplay wise, map design wise, just overall enjoyability, it just I didn't have that much fun with it, especially not in the first 6 months.
That's a good take. I think we can agree. I'm agreeing with you that it's going to be an average Call of Duty game.
Yeah.
Trash is reserved for what's there right now. Moving on. Is it me? It's back to me, right? Black Ops 4?
Yeah, yeah.
All right. This is the game that basically kickstarted my YouTube channel. So it kind of has a special place in my heart for me. It's the first game I made videos on all throughout the year. Granted, they got 30 views a video, so I don't know what you want to do with that. But I am going to go with good for Black Ops 4. There are a few small things that really could have made this game amazing. I would put it on the higher end of good. Probably over Modern Warfare 2, honestly. That might be a hot take. Probably not as high as not as high as Black Ops 3, but still up there. I will say that launch content was very disappointing in terms of it felt like there was no guns, felt like there was no maps, but what we did have worked for my personal playstyle. I like rushing, I like being in people's faces, and you could do that. The stim shot, the manual healing, acoustic sensor, the SMGs were the go-to weapons. Like when the VMP came out later, oh my god, okay. The SOG, you could use operator mods, with your weapons, right? A lot of the Mastercraft camos, you at the end of the game's life cycle, not during it, but at the end, they made it so that you could earn keys and reserves through playtime and through challenges. The ideal system, in my opinion, to unlock things in Call of Duty. It took a long time to get there, but in my opinion, it's still the best way to do it. I think that the microtransactions in this game started off very, very poorly. They tried to copy Fortnite, and it did not go well. Blackout was in this game, which I would much rather prefer over a campaign, personally. I know a lot of people hated Blackout. It was a really stupid decision to not make it cross-play and just kill it after 1 year. So that was dumb on their part. But I had fun in multiplayer. I had fun in Blackout. The EKA system was introduced in this game as well. I think competitive was also kind of quote-unquote back in this game. So it did a lot of good things for the COD community, in my opinion. Specialists were cool as well. A lot of stuff to talk about.
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna go ahead and just agree right here. It's good. I think some people would put it in average from what I'm hearing from a couple of other people, but for me personally, I would have it in good. I don't think it was amazing. I can't really put it next to Black Ops 2, MW3. I wouldn't put it next to MW2 either, but between Black Ops 3 and Black Ops 4, personally, I enjoyed Black Ops 4 a lot more. This is probably the first game in at least a few years of COD, the CODs before it, that I put in tons of hours into it. This is after I graduated high school, so I had a lot more time. I was putting tons of time into Black Ops 4. This is when I started getting my ideas for wanting to start a YouTube channel. I didn't, but I really enjoyed it. League play wasn't too bad. I think it was called the World League or something like that, but I enjoyed it. The mastery camos, Dark Matter looked crazy good. And they were reactive as well.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
So those were cool. The diamond camo would become rainbow or something like that. A lot of cool little tiny features that made this game really fun for me. When it comes to the specialists or the operators, I always used Ruin, right? The guy with the grav slam. And I always enjoyed that because he had the little grapple hook. And just like you, I'm a player who just likes to get in people's faces. I'm super aggressive. I use the SOG with the grapple, and I just had a ton of fun on this game. I will say, I agree with you that one of the only things I didn't like about this was the lack of content at launch. And then on top of that, the microtransaction system at first was not very good. And if I'm not mistaken, this kind of introduced the first goofy operators, right? You could play as weird variations of the specialists.
Yeah, I'd say so.
I don't remember exactly which ones, but there were some awkward ones in there, and I think it kind of rubbed off on the following CODs.
And
But
camos too, for sure. Like that GKS had like a unicorn
oh yeah,
variant. I remember
that's what I
that.
mean. That
But
unicorn
yeah,
variant of the of that gun. Um, but overall, like gameplay wise and enjoyability, I think it's really good.
yeah,
So yeah.
for sure.
Am
Definitely
I
agree.
starting MW?
I believe so.
Oh,
Have fun with this.
so this one's like a little bit of an awkward one for me because I started my YouTube channel on this COD. Um, my content back then was way different to what it is now, but I remember my first time playing MW was the alpha, right? And it was only gunfight, and I enjoyed it, right? That 2v2 mode, I actually had a lot of fun with it. It was very different from Black Ops 4. It was so much slower, but I enjoyed it. And then when I played the
Interesting.
beta, and then eventually the full game, I know I'm gonna get roasted. I'm gonna get cooked by a couple of people, but honestly, like after this game launched, especially with those weird decisions like the doors, the mounting, the mini map, I this game has no place in my heart. Like I absolutely despise this game. Um, I have a lot of horrible things to say about it, which I'm gonna save, right? I'm not gonna say too much, but I really did not enjoy this COD. I will say the only thing I can appreciate about this game is the new engine, right? The sounds and the graphics of this game were really cool. I'm not including Warzone in my answer to this
Yeah, let's just keep
because
it
I think
multi
Warzone did other things,
and
but
campaign stuff.
I will also admit and agree that this game kind of, with the help of Warzone, obviously, but initially with just this game having this title, it kind of like rejuvenated the franchise to a little bit of an extent.
For
Like a
sure.
lot of OGs were coming back to this game just because it said Modern Warfare.
Yep.
But for me personally, like when it comes to the actual gameplay and how slow it was and how people played the game and all the horrible decisions, in my opinion at least,
Yeah.
this one is like an easy trash. And I almost hope I could have put it in never played, but unfortunately I did. So it's in trash.
That's pretty brutal. Honestly, if you asked me this before I played one game of Search and Destroy, I would full on agree with you and probably go harsher than you. However, I did play Search and Destroy, and this game was made for Search and Destroy, and that's about it. Any tactical
I
game
agree.
mode, like what wasn't there was a cyber attack, right? That was what it was called. There was a new mode, cyber attack. It kind of
Yeah.
failed. I don't think a lot of people played it, but Search and Destroy in this
Wasn't it
game,
a search and rescue? Was it that?
it was like built off of that, but I think that was in
Oh yeah,
that was
yeah.
in Ghost. I think another forgettable game.
Shit.
Um, yeah, Search is the only good thing about this game. It's the only good thing you'll see on YouTube about this game. Nobody's playing Respawn unless they're grinding for camos. As a whole, I think this game on paper was supposed to be amazing. It should have been. The big thing for me was the maps. You could say footsteps, you could say doors, but as a whole, I can get over that kind of stuff. I can't get over the maps. I can't get over how unnecessarily big they are, how like they're so set up for camping, how a lot of the things like the footsteps and doors and all that stuff, the perks, they lead to help you to camp, claymores, restock, just like it's shotguns that take no skill, like it's just set up for you. It doesn't help that the developers have come out in interviews and said we want to make it easier for new players, not caring about OG players or people who this isn't their first Call of Duty game. So I mean, it's set up for people who camp, right? That's basically all it is. You and I have both agreed that we like to get in people's faces. This game doesn't really
Yeah.
support that playstyle, so it's hard to say it's a fun game. On paper, it's a good title. It launched pretty well. I will say that it missed a lot of maps starting at launch, but in terms of like guns, gunsmith, it was working pretty properly at launch. So I'll give it that. It launched with a few too short maps. I think it should have gave like at least 4 more maps at launch. And I think one of the bigger things is that it spread itself way too thin. And what I mean is like ground war, gunfight, Warzone, obviously. what was their other thing? Spec Ops. That was like a complete joke
Spec
as
Ops
well.
didn't even work for
Yeah, that was
the
a
first
joke.
few months.
They just split themselves way too much. 10v10 and 6v6 in the same playlist. Like I don't know. It was not a good decision. I think they wanted to appeal to so many people, and they ended up only appealing to like basically search and destroy people. In my opinion, I'm sure there's a ground war fan base out there, but like I don't know. I'm not part of that.
Also, before we get off of MW, right,
Yeah.
I'm sorry I have to do this, but I got to keep smoking it. Before I do, though, I will say, like, as a positive, the DLC maps in this game were actually not that bad,
I'll give it that.
especially when you compare them to the launch maps.
Yeah, for sure.
When it comes to the launch maps, we had, like, Ramaza, we
Ugh.
had Azir Cave,
Yikes.
Piccadilly, Euphrates Bridge. Like, these are just some of the worst maps I've ever played on. I'm not gonna lie.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Also, one of the biggest things for me was this was, if I'm not mistaken, this was like the start of like this new SBMM system that we have,
Yeah.
which I don't know if it's like too prevalent in Vanguard, but in Modern Warfare 2019, if you had the horrible thick SBMM attacking you at the same time that you were camo grinding, like that combination really made up for one of the worst experiences I've ever had personally.
Yeah.
I think it was super sweaty. This was also the start of like disbanding lobbies.
Yeah.
What else? Like the ping was starting to become an issue in this game because they were searching for people in your player bracket, I guess, or your skill level,
Instead of
and they weren't
connection.
prioritizing ping and connections.
Yeah.
We all know ping is king, but in this game, it just, I guess, it didn't apply. So for me, I had really bad experiences on this game. So
Yeah.
I know some people will say it's like average, or like a lot of people nowadays will say it's good or even amazing. For me, it's trash.
I agree. I think it's like 90% trash, 10% average. And the 10% is just because I played so much Search and Destroy. And I can't lie, I had a good time playing with people, playing Search and Destroy. I think it, like you said, it really brought a lot of the COD fan base, like the OG COD fan base, as well as new players to the game. So I got to give it that at least. I could be talked into putting it in average, but for now, it's going to stay in the trash.
Yeah.
Let's move on to Black Ops Cold War, another fan favorite. As a Treyarch shill, I'm going to be putting it in not amazing. Just trolling.
Okay,
I'm going to
game
put
hard
it in
side.
average, actually, low key.
Okay.
Maybe a hot take. I know a lot of people hate this game. I think as a rusher, it did fit my playstyle. Not perfectly. You know, I think Black Ops 4 did a much better job at fitting my playstyle. But Black Ops Cold War came pretty close. One thing, you guys know this, anybody who watches YouTube, you guys know that this game was made in a pandemic. So, I mean, you kind of got to do what you got to do in that case. I'm not going to go too harsh on them for that. It's obviously, Activision and other people's faults for Treyarch having to, shove this out in like, I want to say less than a year, maybe a year. And it pretty much shows, right? Lack of content at map, a lot of lack of originality. The base maps were pretty bad. The only like redeeming factor about this game was that they brought a lot of fan favorite maps back. Like I think they brought Slums back. They definitely brought Standoff. Definitely brought
Nuketown
Hijacked
for the 100th time.
Yeah, Nuketown for sure. I mean, that was like the saving grace. As a camo grinder, this game was actually not that bad because it was pretty easy to get it done. Another thing I liked was Face Off. Definitely had fun in like 6v6 on those small maps. Tons of action. Level up your weapons super fast. Get all your challenges done super fast. Something I liked about this game, again, was the snipers weren't super easy to use. They weren't hard to use, but they weren't like, mind-numbingly easy, like in, Black Ops 2, Modern Warfare 2. So that was cool. You kind of rush around if you wanted. Yeah, I mean, a lot of dumb decisions, like the score streak system were stupid.
Ooh.
A lot of the maps were dumb. DLC was good, but that's not saying too much. And yeah, I mean, like this game could have been good. Definitely a step down from Modern Warfare's engine, but if they had more time, it definitely could have been good. Probably, honestly, if they had another year, it probably could have made it to the good category, if I'm being real. But
Yeah,
I'll let you go.
I agree. This is something that I always say. If this game were delayed, right, at least like 6 months, I feel like this game could have been so much better than what it was.
Yeah.
Excuse me. But when I played this game initially, coming off of Modern Warfare 2019, I was really excited because it's a Treyarch title,
Yeah.
it's a Black Ops title. It's like more traditional, right? There's no doors, there's no mounting.
Yeah.
There's ninja as a perk again. Um,
Yeah.
but when I actually started playing it, I found myself not enjoying it, and this is like the ongoing joke of like the entire community that this game is boring. And I got to agree with like the first like leg of this game was boring because there was just no content, right? This game
Yeah.
launched with what, 8 maps, 7 maps,
Yeah.
something like that.
Yeah.
And of those maps, there's some true stinkers in there, right? Like Cartel. A
Miami.
lot of people didn't like Miami, right?
Yeah.
And so they resorted to bringing in remastered maps. And some of those maps we just have seen way too many times, like Nuketown. I think this game could have gone without Nuketown, but for camo grinding, it was good.
Yeah.
Um,
Oh, definitely.
when it comes to the camos, I feel like you said, the camo challenge was pretty easy. I don't want to say it was too easy, but it was easy enough for me to not be that interested in it. I
Yeah.
did it obviously, but like it wasn't like the most challenging. I
When you
didn't feel
compare it,
rewarded.
when you compare it to Modern Warfare or even Vanguard now, like yeah, it's way easier.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. But if I'm not mistaken, this game did did it have a campaign? It did have a campaign, and I
Yeah.
heard people saying that it was actually pretty good.
Yeah, they did.
But the zombies mode, I thought it was super cut and dry, at least in the beginning.
Pretty average,
Towards the
I'd
end
say.
of it, it was starting to pick up. But I think like initially they only like didn't they barely add like the second zombies map into like season
It
two
took
or
a
something like
long
that.
time. Yeah.
Yeah, it took
If
them
you
a
were
while.
if you were a Zombies fan, you were waiting a long time for new content every time in this
Yeah,
game.
yeah, absolutely. For me, I'm gonna go ahead and say it's like average at best.
Hmm.
I think with a delay, it could have been good. I think you're faded if you put it in amazing. But I know a lot of people will put it in trash. Some people will say it's worse than Modern Warfare. Personally, I had more fun on it, but that's not saying much. Like this was still
Yeah.
not very good in my opinion.
Yeah. Well,
And then
we've
that
come to
leaves,
the end, and I've
yeah.
saved the best for last for you. Go
Oh,
ahead and kick
great.
it off.
So, if you I'm not saying you need to do this, but if anybody takes a quick glance at my channel right now, they'll see a lot of interesting things when it comes to Vanguard. Um,
Interesting.
a lot of my opinions are very known about this game, for those who have seen my channel, obviously. But I don't really like this game all that much. I have trouble putting it in a specific area. One, because like we're only a couple months into the game's life cycle,
Uh-huh.
but I think like a lot of people share the same feeling where like the first like 2-3 weeks were actually like not that bad, right? Because this game launched with 16 maps. I think we were like we were well fed for the first like month max, but everything after that, I don't know what happened. It's got to be like a mixture of like the incompetence of Sledgehammer and just like a whole bunch of other things and like bugs and all those things that they haven't cleared even to this day, all the party issues.
Hmm.
But this game can be so much more enjoyable than it is, and I recognize that. But the fact is, it's just not. I think this goes right now in its current state, right?
Do it to
Midway
him.
through season two, this thing is in trash. And I think the most you can do for this is maybe put it in average. But at that point, like, you gotta have really low standards, in my opinion. I think by the end of this game's life cycle, it could be good. And I've said this before, but I think by the end of this game's life cycle, it will have the most content out of any Call of Duty in history. But that doesn't mean it's good. And if you combine that with all the bugs that this game has, everything that still hasn't been cleared, all of the connection issues, I just can't make a good case for this game.
That's very fair. I do look at your channel, and so I was shocked that you didn't put it in amazing. Um, no, I'm just kidding. Yeah, I mean, you pretty much said everything. I also make videos on this channel about this game, usually not in a positive light. being real here. A lot of bugs and glitches. The thing about this game that's so frustrating, and it's so frustrating about the recent CODs, is that they're all so close to being good Call of Duties, right? Modern Warfare, give me good maps, it's probably a good Call of Duty. Black Ops Cold War, give me a better engine, give me more maps, lower the skill-based matchmaking. I guess that's a lot of things. That could have been a good Call of Duty. Vanguard, honestly, like, the skill base doesn't bother me. The maps generally don't bother me. It's just the bugs and glitches and the fact that this game is really boring. Those are like the huge things. Another small thing for me personally, as a camo grinder, it disincentivized the hell out of me to go for camos because the challenges were so brain-numbingly annoying and stupid. I don't know who's developing them or who's deciding on them. Just take a look at the camo challenges. Like, it's just, it doesn't require skill. It's just requiring you to like sacrifice your life away to get it done. And I realize that's part of it, part of the camo challenge, but to such a high degree of 70 weapon levels is just so backwards for me. Like, it just doesn't make any sense. A couple other brain dead decisions, no trophy system, operators being goofy as hell, in a World War II setting. A lot of the maps honestly don't feel very World War II-ish. I can overlook it, but if you're trying to like throw up this front of being a realistic game, don't go halfway and don't switch up in the middle, like that kind of stuff. As a development team, I feel like they're very slow on fixing things. They introduced Krampus for zero reason. Zero people liked it. Yeah, a lot of the bugs and glitches are still here. Joining on people, friends lobbies takes forever. Still haven't fixed that. Rank play took, 3 months, 4 months to come out when it probably should have came out at launch, or at least like a week after launch, a month after launch. And even when it came out, super buggy, super glitchy, right? They delayed Season 2 for it to be broken anyway. Like, when you keep looking at it, there's just not a lot of things that keep you coming back. The Twitch numbers show it. The YouTube numbers show it. The lack of videos, the lack of people talking about it show it. And I guess the last thing I'll say about Vanguard is the subreddit, the Twitch numbers, like all that stuff is pretty dead. Yeah, a lot of that stuff is not active. Not a lot of people checking it, not a lot of people updating it, not a lot of people looking at it. I think there's a Trello board. I don't even know what that stuff means or if it's even true or not. So I'm just going to leave it at that. A lot of it
hasn't been fixed yet. A lot of the things on that Trello board
okay.
have taken so long to be fixed or like still haven't been fixed.
I mean, like, I can keep going, but I'll swing it back to you for Vanguard for some closing thoughts.
This is what I'll say. Before, like earlier in this video, you mentioned like Ghost and what is it, Infinite Warfare, where like it had like the ghost effect on you where you just quit. I'm not there with Vanguard, but I will say, if I weren't playing this game in a party, right? Like I play with you, Difo, Invader, and a few other people. If I weren't playing in a squad every single day, I probably would have quit by now. Like, I just don't find the game enjoyable in its current state. I think it did peak like in its first few weeks because it was new and it had so much content, like I said before. But I feel like if this game doesn't do something like crazy for Season 2 Reloaded or even for Season 3, it's going to have the same effect as World War II. Like, people are just going to stop playing the game, and we already see that. And hopefully, like, if they do end up overhauling the game and making it better, hopefully it's not like within 6 months after the fact, right? And then it'll just be the same effect where like the game could have been good if it was just this way from the start, but it's just not. So and zombies is pitiful.
Oh yeah, don't even get me started on that. I didn't even try it, and I just. Yeah, I don't know. If you're a zombies YouTuber, like, you might have to start applying for jobs. Like, I don't know what you're going to do with this game. I feel bad. But that's it. We've come to the end of the Call of Duty tier list. I'm pretty satisfied with it. I know there's some hot takes here. I think a lot of people will argue about COD 4, probably Modern Warfare, probably Vanguard. Maybe not Vanguard. Probably Advanced Warfare they'll argue about. But I think our top 6 there is pretty firm, in my opinion.
Yeah, that top 6 is solidified in my opinion. I think you can make a good case for like Modern Warfare, Call of Duty 4, like the first one. I know a lot of people will put it in amazing, and I'm not mad at that.
Yeah,
Yeah, a lot of people will put it in good. Not mad at that. Just based off of how little amount of it that I played, it's just gonna be an average.
same for me.
Um, and then I think the only other like really, really hot take in here is I know nowadays a lot of people praise MW 2019,
Hmm.
but I, d- I'm sorry, I just can't get with that. That's
Yeah,
it for me.
yeah. I mean, at most it could be average. I can't.
Yeah.
I can't call it a good game. I just can't. I played it a lot. I'll be honest with everybody here. I played it a lot. I have Damascus in it, but I can't call it a good game. But that's it.
Here's the question. Here's the question before
Yeah.
we end this. Dynamite. What do you think is better, Modern Warfare 2019 or Vanguard?
As of right now, I'm going to say Modern Warfare, just because it's had way more time, way more content.
Yeah.
If Vanguard's a finished game, I'll come back and reevaluate. But as of now, Modern Warfare. How about you?
Not mad at that answer. I think I would prefer right now Modern Warfare 2019.
That's fair enough, and that
But
says
I
a
think
lot.
by the end of its game, by the end of the life cycle, I think Vanguard could be a lot better. But right now, it's just not
Definitely could.
there.
It can't get worse. I don't think it can get worse.
Yeah. Hey, you don't know, man.
We don't know. But that's it for this video. This video is gonna be long, dude. I
It's
think
a long one.
this is probably gonna be like at least 45 minutes. So hopefully you
long
just
one.
treat it as like a podcast or whatever. Just listen to it. Thanks to Fooly here for being with me on this, making this video with me. Go check
Thank
him
you for
out.
having me.
Yeah, links will be in the description.
Thank you, thank you. Shout out to Dynamite. Thank you for having me on, homie.
Yeah.
But I would always gun you. I always know that.
Yeah, you have a Cronus.
Yeah,
But
I
thanks
have
for
two Cronus, actually.
watching. Thanks for watching, everybody.
Thanks for watching.
We'll see you later. Peace.